Hello. Hello, Mafa. It is time for the third round elections. So right now we're just waiting for Emily and Nina to come on the live broadcast right now. Oh, hello, Emily.
Hi.
Emily's right next to me, so. Okay, now we're just waiting for Nina. She should be here soon. But I'll just explain the election process. Oh, but first of all, hello. This is our new Mafa board for the 2017-2018 school year. I'm Sammy, and I am the president. And here we also have Maddie, who's one of the co-outreach, and Marlo, who's the media master. Emily, she is the events coordinator, and then Nina will be joining us shortly, and she is the DPE. So basically for the elections process, for the first 5 minutes, the candidate will be having a speech, and they will be talking about the position, why they're running for it, and then the second 5 minutes would be Q&A. So all in all, they would have around 10 minutes. And our first candidate is Nicole Colostro, and she will be running for VPI. And Emily will be calling her up shortly. But while we're reading, we can do highs and lows for the time. I guess I could start. My high is that I went to a strawberry festival yesterday, and it was cool. Everything was like strawberry themed, and I had a really good like steak sandwich. Too bad there were no strawberries in it. And there was a strawberry broth that I really wanted, but they sold out already. So, but there was strawberry popcorn, so that was delicious. And then a low would be oh, that was pretty good weekend. I don't know. Oh, I had a lot of work today at work today, so I was really busy. But waiting for Nicole. Oh, okay, cool. But popcorn, Maddie. If Maddie wants to say her hi to me.
Sorry, I was taking care of something.
Oh, you're fine.
Lows.
Yeah.
A high is that a bunch of Mafa people came down to Chicago on Saturday, including UW Milwaukee FSU, who is new this year, so they're awesome. Shout out to Maddie, Heather, Jessica, and Alex for coming down. That was super cool of you guys to come down, and we all had a great time at the beach and at Jollibee and at Shake Shack, so it was a lot of fun. My low is that I have a lot of work to do, but you know, that's every time. And then Paul is here!
Hi!
Okay.
Sorry, I was having difficulties.
Wait, I'm gonna hand this to me now.
Can you guys hear me okay? Hi!
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay, so we are going to start the election process for VPI, and she is running for VPI, Nicole Colostro. And again, we're just going to explain. The candidate has about 5 minutes or maximum 5 minutes to speak about their position and why they're running for it. And then the second 5 minutes would be Q&A from any of the executive board members or anyone from Mafa that wanted to ask you a question. So whenever you're ready, you can start.
Perfect. Hello, Mafa and Mafa board. For those who don't know me, my name is Nicole Colostro, and I am running for the position of Vice President Internal for this upcoming school year. I will be a senior at Loyola University Chicago in the fall and am majoring in exercise science on the pre-physical therapy track. Currently, I am the president of the Filipino student organization at Loyola, Kapwa. Throughout the years while being a part of Kapwa, I have also held other positions on staff and leadership roles. These positions include serving as the vice president of Kapwa last school year and fundraising chair of the 2015-2016 school year. I am running as Vice President Internal because as a leader and as someone who has had several experiences in holding positions on a staff, I feel that I am suitable to uphold the responsibilities that this position entails and hope to bring more to the Mafa board. For this upcoming year, I would like to ensure that communication between Mafa schools and the Mafa Executive Board is consistent, promote collaboration and networking within other PSAs, as well as enhance the internship program. As stated in the Mafa Constitution, I understand that this position acts as the liaison between organizations, boards, and the Mafa board, in which I do have experience in. Previously, as Vice President of Kapwa, I have had the responsibility of acting the liaison between our committee positions and the executive board. During our staff meetings, which were held every other week, I facilitated and wrote the outline for each meeting. The purpose for each of our staff meetings were to relay any concerns or important messages from the executive board to our committees and vice versa. Through this previous position, I feel that I have experience that can be used to uphold the duties of the Vice President internal position. If elected, I would like to focus on keeping consistent communication between Mafa-affiliated schools and the Mafa Executive Board. As stated in my application, I would hope to do this by reaching out to each of the school's executive board, possibly either the president of the organization or the Mafa representative, and set monthly meetings to have with them via Google Hangouts. These meetings could possibly be during the organization staff or board meetings in which the goal is to have open lines of communication and inquire about their needs and see if there's anything that we as a board would be able to help provide them. Whether that may be advice on starting a new branch within their PSA, directing one organization to another for any questions that they may have in terms of events such as their own PCNs, or looking for strategies that found best to recruit members. I feel that it is important to emphasize to other affiliated organizations that Mafa Board is here as a resource to all members. In the event that it is difficult to meet with the organization's board, I would also be willing to meet with their board separately to their convenience and relay the message to the Mafa board later on. In addition, I would also like to create a Facebook page that includes all the organization staffs and boards as well as Mafa board. I'm aware that there is a Facebook page specifically for the presidents of each organization, but having a page where all the leaders are included and can be more efficient and beneficial. By having this page, the staff member can directly post their questions rather than having to ask the Mafa rep or president of their organization, then having to continue relaying messages after messages. This can be utilized for potential collaborating with other PSAs and to further networking among others. Also, in terms of collaborating, if elected, I am willing to help Nina as VPE with any tasks that she may have, and Emily as well as events coordinator to reach out to other schools and their board members. As Vice President Internal, our main responsibility is spearheading the internship program. Again, when I served as Vice President for Kapwa, I was also in charge of the internship program for our staff and overlooked how the current members interacted. However, I do understand that during the time the internship program takes place in the spring semester, it would be a very busy time for most organizations, especially with Battle of the Bamboo and their own PCNs. I also recognize that some school schedules are different than others. In order to overcome this, I plan to adjust accordingly to the best interests of the interns and the mentors. But because I have seen how much interning for positions has helped in making a decision to run, I hope to make this program very efficient and a time for one to grow as a leader and as an individual. I would like to continue having mentors assign position-specific tasks, as well as having interns split into teams for projects. If elected, I would like to incorporate some sort of forum or workshop for all interns and mentors to share their personal experience as a leader and how they can continue to improve, as well as building professional development. Mafa is seen as the big umbrella with several organizations within it, and I believe that as other members and leaders come together, it is important to share the motivation and willingness to advocate for the Filipino and Filipino American identity. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Nicole. You actually just had enough time. So now we're going to be opening it up for Q&A. So I have one question for you. If elected, what strategies will you employ to balance your work as president of CAPWA and your work as a member of Mafa?
So I do plan on being able to reach out to other members on my executive board, as well as if elected on Mafa board, in terms of if there's anything I need help with. I do have two co-vice presidents, Maddie and Janine Lomibao, in which I can ask them if I do need help with divvying up any tasks, as well as if elected as Mafa VPI, I can also ask Nina as VPE if needed.
Thank you. So you mentioned that you wanted to have like a Facebook with all the boards and staff from different Mafa schools. Since so many Mafa members and executive board members are on many different social media platforms where they have to communicate with their board or I guess other groups in general, how will you I guess increase that participation on like that Facebook group, that specific Facebook group or group name that you talked about?
So I do understand that, I mean, obviously different boards and other organizations work differently, but I would hope that since social media is very popular amongst like our years and whatnot, I hope to promote that easily by letting other executive board members know that this is here as a resource, not necessarily that it's forced for them to use it, whatnot, but it's for their own convenience. But otherwise, of course, if they're more comfortable reaching out to members like specifically, then I would be open to that as well.
Thank you. And then I have one last question. The majority of Mafa boards is usually made up of seniors, which our board is mostly seniors. Burnout can be a huge problem. How can you address this as BTI if elected?
I'm sorry, the audio kept breaking up. Can you...
Oh, sorry. Since the majority of Mafa board is usually made up of seniors, usually burnout can be a problem towards the end of the year. How can you address this as BPI if elected?
I would definitely reach out to people who are of the younger class to different organizations, especially if they currently hold roles or are interested in having roles within their own PSA. And I do know since a lot of us are going to be seniors, so I would definitely reach out to underclassmen that, again, have leadership roles or are intended to have a leadership role. And hopefully with this, I hope to promote it very well through social media and emails and whatnot. And also as like face-to-face conversations during FACT or like summer LR and winter LR.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for Nicole?
Yeah, I had a question. First, Nicole, good job with your speech. I really like your idea of the grouping of like all the Mafa leaders. That's actually like incredible idea. One thing I did want to ask was last year, Trini did something called the Mafa Cultural Bucket List to kind of get schools more involved. Is that something that you would be interested in, and or like maybe doing like a different form of a project like that?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Trini. She did give me a background of how she set that up. So it would definitely be something that I would be interested in doing and continuing on. I think incorporating more like social awareness and as well as other advocating for the Filipino and Filipino American community. So yeah, I definitely think that would be something that I would be open to in continuing on.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions for Nicole? Any questions from what do we have on time? Like 20 seconds. Okay. Tell us a time when you had to deal with conflict on your COPPA board, or any board in general, yeah.
Or anything.
You would neglect their duties.
Yeah. So there. Yeah. No, you're fine. And during a time of conflict, specifically the one that
Time just ended.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Okay. So thank you so much. Good job.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye, Nicole. Thank you.
We will let you know the results in approximately a week.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay. So that was Nicole Colostro. She was running for VPI once again. And our next candidate will be Kayla Manguni. Manguni. Kayla Manguni. And she will be running for the treasurer position. So we'll be calling her up soon. But we will pick up with our highs and lows. Maddie, did you finish? But I guess Maddie, you can pick who next.
Emily, let's hear your highs and lows.
Okay, so I'll start with my low. Not much happened. It's I didn't work as much as I wanted to. Like, I don't necessarily like work all the time, but like I like money, so that would have been cool to work a little more. But like rather than working, I was just being lazy. I wasn't like being productive or working out. Improve on. And then for highs, my roommate came for like a few days. And I missed her, so that was super cool. And then also I'm not like alone in the apartment now, which is also really nice. And I just feel very adult. And then like coming home and we're like pretending we're a couple, so it's just all cute. But yeah, I'll popcorn to Marla.
All right, so I guess I'll start with my low. I guess it's always kind of the same low, but you know, Monday, worked 10 hours today. Got to get that OT. Yeah, and then for my high, I started cooking again. So just, yeah, it's been a while, but I really like cooking and can't wait to eat it after these elections. Popcorn Nina.
Well, Kayla is like just about to hop on, so I'm just gonna wait because I don't want her to like wait when she gets on. But I hope everyone's having a great day. Sorry. Thank you for
Marla, are you gonna cook for us?
But I hope everyone's having a great day.
Hello, Kayla.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on. So just to reiterate, you have a maximum of 5 minutes for your speech, and then another 5 minutes for Q&A from anyone on the executive board or any Mafa members that have any questions for you.
Okay.
So you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Good evening, Mafa. My name is Kayla Manguni, and I'm honored to have the chance to run for the position of treasurer for this upcoming year. I'm an incoming senior at Loyola University Chicago, majoring in accounting, and I'm also currently COPWA secretary for the 2017-2018 school year. I'm a driven, hardworking, and organized individual that would love to be your next Mafa treasurer. Over the past school year, 2016 to 2017, I was given the opportunity to be COPWA's treasurer. As my time as treasurer, it was my responsibility to handle many of the financial aspects for COPWA, such as making sure there was enough funding for events that we had planned for the semester and allocating money to other branches fairly and when needed. But handling the financials was not the only thing I was able to contribute to COPWA. I was also able to help out in the logistical planning of our PCN night in Manila, and I was able to partake in some of the planning for the most recent LR, Winter LR, since it was held at Loyola. I'm choosing to run for Mafa board because over the past year, I was able to get more involved with Mafa, and every experience I've had with this organization, all of them have been positive ones. I want to be able to give back to the Mafa community what Mafa has given to me, which is a positive resource that has helped me connect better with the Filipino American community. I want to run specifically for treasurer because I believe this is the position where I can contribute the most to Mafa board. If elected as treasurer, I want to create a stable source of revenue through Mafa apparel and sponsorships, just as I stated in my additional questions. I also want to create a Mafa bank account if there is not one already set in place. Having mobile banking apps such as Venmo and PayPal are great ways to handle money, but having an official bank account will be a more efficient way to keep track of all money received. Also, by having a bank account, all money raised or donated to Mafa will be somewhere secure. But my main goal, if elected as treasurer, is to keep an updated spreadsheet that any Mafa board member can access so that he or she will be able to always know the current financial standings that Mafa is in. Creating and updating spreadsheets that reflect current financial standings is something I do for my job as a junior accountant, and I believe I will be able to do the same for Mafa. I believe that transparency is a key component in having a strong board, and by creating this spreadsheet, this is one way that I can be transparent with other board members. Mafa has made a positive impact on my college career, and I want to take this leadership role to hopefully make a positive impact for others in the Mafa community. Mafa has helped me grow as a leader, and if elected as treasurer, I hope to grow even more. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Kayla. Good job on your speech. So the next 5 minutes, we will have the Q&A, and I have a few questions for you. So you mentioned both in your speech and in your application about raising revenue for Mafa through sponsorships. So can you expand on that idea, specific sponsorships that you might want to reach out to, or just anything in general if you have more to expand on?
I want to reach out specifically to other Filipino American organizations that are in the Midwest specifically. I also have other resources from people that my family knows personally that are very involved in the Filipino American community, and I'd love to reach out to them too. I just want to use the resources that we have and that that I know to our best ability to create these sponsorships.
Thank you. And you also mentioned that you're a junior accountant, and you also said in your application that you are the fundraising chair for your sorority. So how would you manage time or balance your work being on your sorority, working, school, and on Mafa board if elected?
I manage my time very well. I make sure that I'm organized and write everything down that I need to get done with priority. I always make sure that I list things out due to priority. And to be totally honest, my sorority doesn't take precedence. Even though I do hold a position as their fundraising chair, I made sure that it wouldn't conflict with being on Mafa board or being on COPWA's board. I always put higher precedence towards those positions, like board positions other than what I have in my sorority.
Thank you. And lastly, my other question is that I know last year Mafa board started a travel grant. Is that something that you're interested in starting up, or what else do you feel that Mafa Board can do to help other Mafa students?
I definitely that's definitely something I want to start up or like continue to do. I know that travel is very expensive, and with Mafa expanding to places such as Pennsylvania and out in Minnesota, with them being so far, I know travel can get expensive. I want to think of ways to fundraise money specifically for these things, such as it could be something as simple as like holding a food drive at Mafa events and having like, or just like thinking of other fun like ways that we can fundraise for them.
All right, those are all the questions from me. If anyone else on Mafa Board has anything to ask Kayla, feel free.
I had a question. First, Kayla, good job on your speech. One thing, just to kind of piggyback off of Sammy's question about the Mafa travel grants, last year's co-outreach, a couple Mafa reps reached out asking if it would be possible for in the future if Mafa travel grants would be able to expand other than only for MFOS. So for example, for like winter LR, maybe even summer LR if it's feasible. How do you feel about that, seeing that MFOS is like the biggest like Mafa board run event with with the host school?
If it's feasible, I believe that it would be okay, considering it's technically a Mafa event, but definitely having MFAS as the priority to keep the money centered there and have it all allocated towards MFAS, just because that is the bigger Mafa event, and since winter and summer LR is mainly geared towards a lot of the leaders in different Filipino organizations. But if there's a way to come about the money and give them something so they can come out and get the same experiences that Mafa schools closer to the host school are able to partake in, I feel like that would be great as well.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. With the since we already have one person from Loyola on Mafa board, and there's the opportunity of having another one plus you, how would you deal with any sort of possible clickiness or miscommunication? Since Mafa is supposed to be a very unbiased and from different schools, how would you deal with anything?
I just would be completely transparent with everyone and make sure to reach out to other schools, specifically schools that that I won't see. So even though there is someone on Mafa board that's already part of Loyola and another person who is also running for a position from Loyola, I just want to make sure to reach out to other people so Mafa is still that community of togetherness.
Great. Thank you so much, Kayla. Good job, like Emily had just showed you. But yeah, once again, good job on your speech, and thank you for running. You will hear the results in approximately a week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, and then our last candidate is Rafi Taralba, and she is running for the other open co-outreach chair, and she is from Madison. And she will be coming up in a few minutes. Yay. Okay, and Nina is the last. Hi, no. Whenever she's ready, of course.
Sorry, I had to send you the link, but
yeah.
Okay, so I'll start with Lowe's. Lowe was that work has been extremely busy, and so has dance. Like I feel very exhausted, especially from this past weekend. I went from like a 6-hour dance rehearsal to driving right to Chicago in the morning after getting home at like 2 a.m. And then staying in Chicago for like 18 hours and then driving right home and then going to another 6-hour rehearsal, then waking up in the morning to go to work. So I'm really tired. But my high was I got to see a lot of Mafa people this weekend. I got to see Maddie and Marlo, and then all of the a lot of new people that are going to be on board for their individual schools this year. So that was really exciting, and we got to talk a lot about leadership. So that was really exciting. But hello, Rafi.
Hello, Nina.
Hello, Rafi. Okay, so just so you know, you have a maximum of 5 minutes for your speech to tell why you're running, and yeah, and then another 5 minutes for Q&A.
Okay.
So you can start speaking whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Mafa board and members. I'm Rafi Taralba, and I'm going to be a junior at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, majoring in biology with a certificate in global health and in Asian American studies. In the past year, I held the position of public relations chair for FOSO in Madison, and I will hold the vice president internal position for the coming year. And today I'm running for the position of co-outreach. Merely having an organization like Mafa exist where I can connect with people who share my background is motivation enough to want to be part of such a great community. And furthermore, having been a Mafa rep, it was having great leaders like Mads and Nina, as well as the rest of Mafa board, that really pushed me to want to be a part of the executive board. I believe my experience working with them and FOSO's executive board as the director of our Ate Kuya Ating program this past school year, that has enabled me to bridge the gap between FOSO members and the Mafa sphere. And therefore, I would be able to bring these skills to the outreach position for Mafa. Forming strong relationships and consistent communication is a pivotal aspect of being an outreach chair. Over the past year, I found myself growing enthusiasm and meeting new people from across the region, and I know that enthusiasm will only grow. With that said, I know I will be able to bring the attitude to the outreach position and be an effective communicator to the representatives, family heads, and most importantly, to the general members, as they are really what makes Mafa grow and improve as a community. I understand the importance of collaboration in order for orgs to grow successfully, so it's imperative that members and representatives feel engaged and respected in any form of correspondence. Therefore, if I were to be elected, I would continue the use of GroupMe and monthly meetings and Mafa representative Facebook page as a form of communication with the reps for reminders and assignments, and for each rep to look to the other schools as resources as well as friendly faces when they do go to Mafa events. I also propose that my co and I, Maddie, engage in communication with each individual representative outside of a group message for specific duties. This would foster stronger relationships between Mafa board and the leaders of the other Mafa schools. Extending this to Mafa families, an improvement to the current communication would be a Facebook group page. Because currently there's a large group message that includes all the heads, and with so many families in Mafa, a forum format would be a little more efficient to communicate with Mafa family heads. Individual communication with the heads, like the way we would have representative communication, would also improve the relationship between outreach and family heads. It would allow the board to form substantial relationships with members outside of executive boards. And while communication over social media is the most common way that Mafa members and families stay connected, something that I actually want to see in Mafa's future is participation in service volunteering. Our current contributions to ARC through Midwest Vermilion is incredible. But having attended a Jesuit high school that's kind of dedicated to going out and doing service, I felt that this was kind of missing in my Mafa experience. There's a nonprofit organization that Capo Loyola might know about. It's called Feed My Starving Children, and volunteers come as groups to pack meals, and then those meals are shipped off to, including the Philippines and all over the United States, actually. And they have locations just outside of Chicago and the Twin Cities, so that would be perfect for us as Midwesterners. I don't know about maybe the ones that are more east, but that's kind of a little bit central, I don't know. It would be an amazing community building opportunity, and it would show that Mafa is dedicated to cultural awareness and impactful community service. And to close this all off, I just want to say that I have known about Mafa since before college, but I didn't quite understand how important it was. After taking part this past year and coming to UW-Madison, a school with a very small population of Filipinos, I really understood how important it is that there is strong communication and outreach to hold everything together. For schools with small orgs like FASO, Mafa gives us the opportunity to meet our people from across the region, and we can immerse ourselves in with other people and communities that share or just want to even learn about the rich culture that we were raised in. Can't stress enough how much having an organization like ours even exists is an accomplishment in itself. So that's why I want to see it through, that we continue to build large networks and foster strong relationships, learning, growing in our identities as Filipino Americans together, whether it be as general members, representatives, family heads, or an executive board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Good job on your speech. But first, we are going to have, before it ends, we're going to have a Q&A when Nina and Maddie are going to be asking the questions first, because Nina was the old outreach and Maddie is currently the new one. So.
All right, I'll go first. Hi, Rafi. Great job on your speech.
Thank you.
So I have a couple questions for you. So the first one is involving service. I think it's a really awesome idea and a really good way to give back to the community with this idea. And Feed My Starving Children is actually something COP was doing on July 8th. So I think that's really cool that you mentioned that. But something that's really difficult, I think, for the community service chairs, at least in my experience, is in COPA, the community service chairs, is that they have a really hard time getting people involved in community service. Right. So can you kind of explain how you plan to get people persuaded to do it, and how you would organize that practically?
Right. So a good way to persuade people, I think, is just start talking about it, kind of, because I know I've had a really great time going there, and I know it's not something that people really like to get involved with. Either they're busy or it's just hard to go out and do that stuff. So like just talking about my own experience with anyone who will listen, basically, will kind of get the word out about what type of organization it is. Because like when you go there, it's amazing. Like you have the greatest time. It doesn't feel like you're doing service. So that's how you would like get people's interest going. Can you repeat the second part of that question?
Just your thoughts on how to organize something like that practically.
How to organize that. So I guess I would maybe work with Emily, she's events, and possibly Marlo for social media, just to like bring more awareness to it. Although I know it would be difficult trying to get like everyone to come to Chicago or everyone go to Twin Cities, but then I would work with other board members, or I would talk to representatives, other people's boards, to try to see like how we could work together even to get people out to do these things.
Thank you. And then my second question is about collaboration. That's something that I'm really passionate about as well. And I'm wondering how you see collaboration manifesting practically with all the different schools and across different states and that sort of thing.
It would be really great to see, with the position that I'm running for, it would be great to see the representatives kind of spearhead it. Like I maybe encourage them to talk to each other in a more collaborative way, to just have socials. Like I know the one that happened this past weekend, all of you just got together because you were talking. So it's really stuff like that, like everyone getting talking and forming like relationships, and then you can kind of move towards more goals for the actual orgs, some events that you can do, and not just a social aspect.
Okay, thank you. Nina, did you have any questions?
Yeah. So Rafi, good job on your speech. One thing, and I've asked this in pretty much every round now, but it's just interesting to hear everyone's opinion on it. So just like you said, you're like one of the newer schools this past school year. How do you feel that is like the most beneficial or like the most efficient way to reach out to those new schools to get as much involvement as possible, especially like with the Mafa reps and getting them involved in Mafa families?
Right. I think with newer schools, trying to communicate with them in any way possible, get their numbers, get their emails, get their Facebooks, any way you can communicate them and try to like kind of bring them into the community, show us that we're really welcoming and we want them to be there. And I think just communicating with their rep especially, and maybe their president, that kind of encourages them to want to be part of Mafa and show them all the things that it offers. Like what's really beneficial is you build networks, not only in the social sense, but in the professional sense. So like I've met a lot of people who have the same career goals as I do. So like it really brings people in to a group that they didn't think they would fit into. Even though, yeah, we are Filipinos, but sometimes, you know, people don't feel like they fit in. So yeah, trying to contact in any way possible and be persistent with communication it shows that there's someone there who's ready to talk, even though they might not be responsive.
Thank you. And then I have one more question. I know that you are going to be VP of UW Milwaukee. No, Madison. Sorry. So co-outreach is one of the positions that is pretty time-consuming. Do you have like a plan to kind of attack the time commitment that you have to both organizations?
Yeah, so with VPI, it's very much internal. So that's more communicating with my board, making sure they're doing what needs to be done. So I believe I can commit equal amounts of time without kind of messing up my schedule and getting overwhelmed. Although if that ever does happen, I mean, I have two boards to support me. So
We're out of time, guys.
I'm holding each other accountable for holding each other accountable for like our responsibilities. But I'm very good with keeping my commitments, keeping everything on track. I write everything down. I keep a calendar. It's very organized but full. But yeah.
Thank you, Rafi. Good job on your speech and Q&A. So we will be getting back to you about the results in approximately a week.
Okay, thank you guys.
Good job, Rafi. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, so those are all of our candidates for today. They are all running unopposed, so we will just, oh wait, no, we need 2/3 of majority vote from the voting party for all of them to become a Mafa board member. So vote, everyone. But yeah, those are our 3rd elections. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.